And it's good weather. You want to agree with that?
Yeah, I love weather.
Trending music.
So good. There's no cause for alarm.
Sports. And everything fun is right here on Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch that dial.
Yeah, I know what this is.
98.3 Mainland FM.
Stay ahead of the political discourse with Midweek Politics, your go-to program for in-depth discussions and critical insight into Nigerians' government.
We are hustle. There is no anything to eat. Hello, ni bag of rice is in. Hello, la bag of rice tele. Bag of rice 20,000.
Bring to you breaking news and analysis, exclusive interviews, engaging debate, public interaction, election coverage, and all political conversations. Straight 120 minutes of live, unfiltered, and unapologetic political conversations.
At some point, we must ask ourselves that what has caused us
of Lagos. Midweek Politics, your go-to program for in-depth. Midweek Politics, your go-to.
FM. I want to believe your day has been good. It's a Wednesday, and today is the 7th day of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On the 29th of the former vice president and the PDP party president and the former governor of Kano. It's been a journey that, quite some talk on those decisions. I think it began from Minister of Youth nominee. A lot of people were like, no, you don't bring a 63-year-old man to be Minister of Youth, dedicated to the people. I've also had to be withdrawn, and sometimes some of those policies are not represented. So it's been an administration that had, the renewed hope also came with renewed aggression from the attackers of the sovereignty, a lot of problems, a lot of challenges. We have stayed where we were, should we have? And one of the worst things that can happen to you in life is if you're like, should have just left us the way he met us. And so this administration have also experienced some action, or sometimes you reflect only in the economy, in the indices. If the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics give you number issues about how does he, reflect, but then the policy is a failed policy, and that's the simple truth. It's a failed policy. So to the ministers, the special advisors, different edition of the Situation Room. It's a Thursday, so we're going to be on the panel. Then we have like a midterm assessment. Midterm elections often serve as a referendum to the ruling party, so that they would know, okay, we spent 2 years out of our 4 years, then we had, midterm elections, and then our party you're doing, or what you've done in the last 2 years. Your ratings have dropped, you've lost the same time. So you look at the fixed, time to receive, and then they have to do some polling units and all of that. But imagine if we have a situation where the second year of the president is the start of National Assembly. So after every 2 years of the presidency, we'll have, midterm elections, where it is one of the things that we can also start to look into, so that it could serve as some form. Let's look at what is happening down there. The people are not happy. The policies are not reaching the people. You know that if you lose in your off-cycle, in your midterm, that's some of the things that INEC is coming up with. And some to vote, and even if you need your PVC to vote, you should be able to vote with your PVC ever. And then I picked up an ATM. The ATM is valid in Lagos. Why can't my PVC also be valid? Especially when I want to vote for the press. I don't exactly align with all of the ideologies of the political party, and I think my personality can win me an election. But like I said, it's one step. Sometimes some of these steps, we're making progress. So if you still think it's too early for us to start the party, we'll start talking about the primaries of 2027. Progressive Congress in Lagos would conduct the primaries. 71 were 96 female. The demographics 166 aspirants and 61 to 70, 61 aspirants. So, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting. Will be done on the 19th of July 2025. But the APC would have its primaries on the landslide decision judgment on the absolute hard local governments that have been under different nomenclatures. Oh, they say it's transition committee chairman, Supreme Court. It has become absolutely important and imperative for you to have a democratically elected local. Focus on the off-cycle governorship election in Anambra State in September, which is most likely good. November this year, his tenure would end as an INEC on this show. So it's a continuous conversation. And even if you don't want to discuss election proper, you can always break down the issue. Why do I need to, vote? Why do I need to go into an election day with the right mentality? Why do I need to throw away every sentiment that I have and vote for people based on credibility into 2027? And don't also forget that we're not having just the general election in 2027. By November, there will be governorship elections in Ondo, in Osun State and Ekiti State. So there's no way we're not going to discuss election. And Eric around with us and enjoy the entire conversation. Side forward, it's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. It's a good time to talk politics on the show. And we have two major issues that we're going to focus. The People's Democratic Party presidential Abubakar would have a sound bite to that effect. But more in growing insecurity in the country and addressing the security challenges facing the country, viable solutions to the current security that would emerge from the urgent need for national security summit yesterday. The motion was sponsored by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, the chairman Titus from Benue Northwest, Senator Peter Nweboyi of Ebonyi North, and the motion emphasized the global nature of insecurity SDGs, that's the Sustainable Development Goals, if any, for this security summit. Since that announcement was made yesterday, there's been a lot of reactions and counter reactions. Do we need the summit? Do we need the security summit? Do we need to still spend? I said, it's another avenue for tea talk. It's another avenue for people to contact. You should, exhaust every opportunity. You should be robust. You should vary. You should vast. You should bring up every stakeholder involved in this. Side forward is here. I would always run this show together. Side forward.
I want to say good afternoon to all our listeners. This afternoon, another interesting, time ahead of us building. My opinion on National Youth Summit.
That is happening very soon.
Is it still happening?
They said it will happen very soon.
You see, the way we attended to the proposed National Youth Summit is not the same way the country. So it means that we will have to attend to this one with more serious. I don't know. It's just the same story. And I remember that and top on the list in different parts of the country. Remember that distant part of the country, Chibok girls had happened and said, look, enough is enough. Even Jonathan at some point himself looked like around former President Goodluck Jonathan. And he sold many Nigerians because, for example, I remember that I think it was a period where Chibok girls were insensitive, was clueless, and all of that. You could even see that at some point, even the wife of the then president, Patience Jonathan, that he sold very well because, again, for every other thing, maybe Nigerians were ready to even overlook and excuse the Jonathan government. But the, kidnapping of school girls, the killings, the fact that we're seeing Boko Haram elements hoisting their flags and insignia in different parts of the country was like the peak, the tipping point. Right? At that point, Nigerians felt that, look, we've had enough of the Jonathan government. And you could see that the APC had positioned themselves carefully to Nigerians more than the fact that they are bringing a former general.
We felt that was the solution.
And people are saying that, if a bloody civilian like Jonathan, at the point where Nigerians were saying that, if Buhari brings Kepabi, that was the major problem for Jonathan. At that point, the insurgency had gotten to the point where Nigerians said, enough is enough. It's enough. On the level of insecurity at that time, So Nigerians cannot continue to die. It is now vote them government. And if there was one reason why Nigerians voted massively against it for the incoming Buhari government at that time, I remember that there was a time they did something like, and so eventually it ended up on the
thumbprint of the APC
agency. So he sold. It was a brilliant, but 8 years of the Buhari government. The general himself.
Very high scale.
At the highest ever.
And then kidnapping setting.
Because at that time for Jonathan, it was just, that was where you were having, but eventually we got to the point where the entire Northwest became a big problem with banditry, insurgency, kidnappings, and school children that we had thought would never happen. I remember we have a timeline of several happening in Katsina State.
The Dapchi boys.
Niger became a problem. The entire Shiro area became a problem. Kaduna, Zamfara became, they were even Tobani.
Hotbed.
The hotbed of terrorism.
A wanted terrorist was Toban.
It brought daylight. So the promises of, we would end insecurity to power. Now, 8 years of Buhari, everything around insecurity got worse. The excuse, you remember that was when the former Minister of Information, for us to know that, look, it was as if these guys majorly just changed their pattern. It was Nasarawa State, in Benue, in Plateau, the Southeast.
It got bloody.
It got so bloody. It was attacked, I think it was under even the Buhari government that the whole defense headquarters in the Defense Academy in Kaduna State. The brazenness.
There were 11 successful jailbreaks. Under jailbreaks attempt was, followed by the security. So 11 was successful. And out of those 11,
it appears that when it comes to governance in Nigeria, I'm not talking about politics now. We know how to play politics. We know how to win elections. But when dexterity to play politics, our ability to coerce, organize, then is the essence of the politics that cannot deliver the goods to the people. What I mean, you'll be surprised that, look, the same thing we said, play politics, should we continue to circumvent our processes, issue of governance? And like I've just told you, it now appears as if, look,
we weigh failures.
We now begin to weigh failures. So you now begin to check, which one is worse, Buhari or Jonathan? Sometimes when you do the analysis, it now appears as if the one that has left was even
better than the one we have.
The one we have.
So you say that, under so 912 people were killed. This one, 2 years of them.
Spread. Obas were kidnapped. Remember, even in the Southwest, Ekiti were killed. So he wasn't able to hold anything. It confused the manifesto of the APC, the renewed manifesto of AME. And I remember that when it got to the point of insecurity, there were details of what the government was going to do. Because I'm coming to the issue of summit or no summit. The way of those things have been done. Let's ask ourselves.
In about 4 weeks,
analyzing the manifestos of these different political parties, and they were, presenting to Nigerians that you understand what the problem is.
Absolutely.
Solve it. And that's why you have a document spelling out the security measures. The numbers are not looking good. Like they say in the street, the numbers are not numbering. It's sad that we are talking about the Nigerians who have been killed, either through issues of insurgency, kidnappings, ethnic conflicts in different parts of the country. Ransom is still the order of the day as we speak. And it's only at that time.
And I'm the one there now.
They are the ones there, and their supporters who also supported in holding the Jonathan government responsible for the bulk away from the table of the president. Our senior colleagues, we knew the position they took
during that time.
When they talk about the issue, they just go
took
round
on the surface.
They keep going round and round.
There's no details at all.
So sad that in their analysis they keep talking about the problem. The people are being killed.
But your party promised us the solution.
You didn't tell us that UEGU Jamboree would be for us to continue to talk. And as we are talking and all of that, enough is enough was the statement. But look at the papers today, Okwemi. The killings are still ongoing.
Districts and the Senate said it yesterday that on daily basis, people are getting killed in Benue. That the only 4 people, how crazy can they get side forward?
So, and that's what we're saying that, look, I just again, like Barrister Cousins will say, but you don't feel it until it becomes your own turn to do the same thing. God forbid. We here in Lagos, because of our political exigencies, affiliations, we talk about these stories of 50 has been killed in Benue, 30 members, their wives, their children. So in our mind, it's all about politics. I hear people saying, "Oh, why is it that when elections are coming, they just do these things?" Hey, if people are doing it, let the government solve the problem. Like the other popular singer would say, after God, the problem is. It isn't coming to tell the people, look, we've identified. It's not a monarchy to say, oh, well, it was just an inheritance. The reason why people, for the things you promised me, and that was why there were a lot of people on the ballot. I said, no, out of every other one, it's you. And so while I was thumbprinting, and like I said, the document, the manifesto is not a document of lamentation. This is what we have identified. This is the solution. But what do we have today, Okoyemi? You keep having excuses. You keep having, you want to have a summit. That was what I told you was a complete waste of time that day, Okoyemi. Is there anything happening in the North Central that we don't already know about? Is there any summit going to be the solution to their problem? They don't know what the problem is. It's Boko Haram. The idea of 10% of 2025 budget was put into security. It takes a larger chunk. It was as if when
you were told that they brought in the Tucano jets, maybe still at the Aminu Airport in Kano.
Because remember at that time, it was as if that was where they
refused to sell Tucano jet to them. As if once the Tucano jet arrives, the end has come to all of our problems.
Do we still with the power sector? Remember during Buhari era, it was the Siemens deal. Siemens.
They've brought in this one, 60%.
And now we have moved from that to band A to band B. The same stories. So when manifestos are produced and given to action to say, look, we've identified the problem, these are the solutions. It is as we discuss on radio. There are people that deal on it. What they are trying to process in your statements, I'm sure some of them... Is it pro? You decided to put their mind only in politics, and they're just wasting their time to be subject of the matter here. The issue is that Nigerians are dying in their promises. In fact, that's the first promise. When you swear, secure the lives and properties
outlined clearly the three fundamental principles of governance. First, the sovereignty belongs to the people. That the fear of the people should be the primary purpose of government.
Every other thing is secondary.
Nothing else. And the third one is ensuring people's participation in their government. So the primary purpose is not development in an atmosphere of hostility.
And insecurity.
Of course, when there's insecurity, there's...
Use the road, they kidnap you.
Are very revered senior colleagues in this job, are dissecting the need why national conference that we had under the administration of Goodluck Jonathan. This APC gets anything from that national conference till today. Side forward. That national conference sought content while they were sitting in the hall. Some of them were sleeping. Some of them just went in there to cash out as much as they could. Till today, then we've had a lot of committee from the Rosso committee cost us billions of taxpayers' money. So if you say we need another security summit, I don't have a problem with that. But my question is this, Zamfara, is about land grabbing and ethnic Yobe going on in Zamfara, going on in those the northeast. Would you bring the non-state actors on the table to have a conversation? Because you can push you. If you want to have a summit, you want to have a round table non-state actors in the issue of insecurity. And this security summit we're talking about, is it going to also, if you want to identify, would you bring in the bandits and ask the problem I'm solving without me being on that table? Do you really think this summit is what we need right now, side forward, or we should make this country work, or the people that have chosen to continue to size this? It's a national decision. It looks like it's something that everyone had decided on already. If you go for the summit and the summit eventually holds up, do you think it has the potential of giving us solution to our problems?
Okay, I mean, hearings, and for every time we put taxpayers' money into these things, okay, I mean, we have recommendations. There's always a document that is produced. What would this summit document? Because again, a lot of the security issues we have in the country are things that, and it is because for every time we look at some of these issues, there are political considerations. There are, politicians, politics, and the issue of self-interest to doing the right thing. Out of it for me, Okwemi, is that look, there are people who are resolve their problem if it's not going to be by force. These are people you address the concern of people who have decided to be an enemy of the state in the name of being against Western education. Because the word book, deranged mind, they don't know that it's the same book that they are against that produced the AK-47 they are using.
The phone calls,
the phone calls are the streaming. So if the deranged minds, these are pure criminals, who of course would always use some religious sentiments to first said, look, go to anywhere in the world, no matter how far,
and seek knowledge.
And seek knowledge. That's what the religion says. But look at deranged idiots. A force.
Not some.
So you are wasting that look, as far as the sovereign state of Nigeria is concerned,
not questionable.
There's no
whether you are inside the hole
or you are outside.
Every single person involved in that. As at 2019, every single one in
maybe suicide bombing. And what they do is that if you do suicide bombing within 2-3 hours,
they smoke you out.
They smoke you out. So
try.
We may not have the same capacity, but we can begin to build capacity and do the right thing. We understand the challenges. Our military guys seems not to be totally accountable with the monies that are voted for, but a lot of times you can't even hear them tell us their reality.
Because they know the consequences.
The consequence stops. Like I just told you, about 4.9 trillion now, that in the Northeast, they are saying that, look, these deranged elements, okay, a lot of times when you see the pictures and videos,
you just look at them.
You look at them and say,
how are you so powerful?
How are we gotten to the point where our military struggles against these guys?
Against boys with almost zero military training.
Maybe
just de-radicalization, just radicalization here and there.
Compared to the kind of training we give to our military, the kind of equipment they are supposed to carry, we know that, look, a lot is happening underground. There are a lot more that we are not seeing. The more you look, the less you see. Also, and without situations like these,
they can't milk.
They can't also look for more money and resources. Where are the monies? Would have expected for us to be so intentional and deliberate.
I'll probably split this conversation a little bit before we move to the next topic. I understand that some of the people we're dealing with, maybe a few of them are faceless. But the truth is this language they're speaking is different from our own kind of house or whatever it is. But people 23 in Bokos and Barikin-Ladi across 18 communities where space. So tell me, how many people do you think would take to kill almost 150 people in a 4-hour stint? Point. They were not detected by any form of surveillance. They were not detected by even the local vigilantes, the hunters, or the JTFs that we have in some of these states. So you can't rule out the issue of sabotage. But let's look at providing lodging from the statement of the DG of the National Orientation Agency, Malam Larry Issa Onilu, program of repentant ex-combatants, particularly those associated with Boko Haram, is very simple. Everywhere in the world, there's a form of de-radicalization going on, but it goes side by side with social justice. Side hundreds of our soldiers, then you catch them. Then you keep them in one room for 6 months under the Operation Safe Corridor. Then you say you've de-radicalized them. Then you are reintegrating them in people that are facing the consequences of their actions. IDP camps in Borno State, sexuality, sexual violence going on. But the people that sent them out of their ancestral land, they've been de-radicalized. But the people that the serious issue that we're handling inside
program would only make sense if we'd gotten to the point where we say, oh, the killings have stopped or it has reduced drastically. But while we are de-radicalizing, quote and unquote, to begin to think that you can actually de-radicalize these elements. I remember my grandfather, God bless his soul. At some point, he was telling me about a group, now use the word reform. They added reform to their name. Reform Kinikon. Called me and he said, look at these people, this cult group. They used to be this name. Said, do you think it is possible to reform of people who have tasted blood? How do you de-radicalize elements? Men raping them, committing all manner of crime in the name of his preach.
And it took years.
Years. So if they were outgunned or boxed, are we sure? What level of intelligence?
Go back to the people
May think they are. There's a level of they are picking up their own intelligence to attack our people. What amount of effort have we put into intelligence gathering? What amount of resources stop the crime from happening? It's not when it happens you react. It's always like this somewhere. We see that we're kidding with these guys, or we're not just ready to do the right thing. Said, I'm sorry, there's no reason why, if it's only going to serve as example and deterrence, to begin, then Babish, they just go and shoot you.
and gun you down.
But when we have Renji,
People have been killed.
people have been killed
Every day.
every day. So it's left for us to, because again, when we say enough is enough, it could just end up as mere words, mere political statements, just to make a statement. I keep recommending that, look, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to help himself when it comes to your physical. It was going to be a problem. Remember that he was part of the first meeting. When he started getting himself entangled in crisis in Kano State, I knew that there was going to be a problem. He was going to get distracted from his job. Remember when the people, what did they call them? Biden, or the cryptocurrency people?
CBEX.
No, they've left now. The one escaped, the other one was eventually released. Binance. Remember?
Yes, the Binance executives.
And when we said, look, this was an economic issue, they should be in the custody of the EFCC. Why is the NSA getting himself involved?
One even escaped.
Well, they said one wanted to go and pray from the Ojapa. The second one has been was on a political campaign. Tinubu gains.
Where are the gains?
Where are the gains now?
Can the NSA travel?
He said people
from
cannot
Abuja
travel or drive himself without
Let
any
him
security
drive
detail.
himself.
He doesn't need to announce it. Just discuss and see.
Let him drive through Port Coon.
The period of campaign will come, and I hope that Nigerians will be able. Supposed to be about politics. It's a job that Tinubu gains. People cannot travel. It's just complete lie. A lot of us, even in the southwest, when we go and fro, even yes, it was still that safe. You see the fear in the minds of the people. There were checkpoints from one point to another point. Is that supposed to be a normal situation? Who are these guys who would not allow Nigerians travel in peace? I told you when I served in 2005, we traveled from Lagos down to Taraba State without there was no apprehension. Can that happen again today? How did we get to this point? And so we're going to start a summit now.
Well, somebody said if you want a matter to die down in Nigeria, just set up a committee, and that's about the end of it. Because I remember when this administration said they want to implement the Oronsayan report, and then they set up a committee, and then they gave them, I think, 120 days or 60 days or thereabouts.
12 weeks.
12 weeks, yes, to work out the modalities for the implementation
Has
of
it been implemented?
till today. Maybe the 12 weeks is 1 week per year, or maybe it's 2 weeks per year.
And you know that at that time, a lot of people got excited. Eventually we're going to see the implementation of the Oronsayan report.
Because there were a lot of things in that report that was going to help us make
issues
some
of cost
level
of governance
progress.
and all of that, And instead of even going towards the Oronsayan thinking, presidency alone, our special advisors, SSA, and what have you, you have close to 20 people doing basically the same thing. Just sports minister before.
Sunday Dare.
Many of them. Even show that you are doing something. So once in a while, you just see this one. Maybe after 2 again, I really don't want to just.
Okay. Side forward. Your life on our National Security Summit, as proposed by the Senate, and that would involve everyone, both the federal, the state, the local government, the traditional institutions, the country. And so there's a lot of issues that we need to look into. Should we start talking about social justice? Should we attack my village and then you kill my father, my mother, you decide to wipe away my entire family, and then I manage what happened during my project for my MSc. And and so we visited a couple of IDP camps side forward. There were IDP camps that does not have perimeter fence, toilet, open defecation everywhere. IDP camps. And the people that sent those people into those IDP camps, fly them in an aeroplane back to the state, give them preferential precedent with permanent disabilities they will live with for the rest of their life. Done at military hospitals, nobody's taking care. And it's not even good enough. The fact that this reintegration is not even bringing solutions. it's almost like there's renewed attack. The moment we
say the end, we can even say, okay, let's justify it.
To talk and continue to look for, some of the solutions. Like Said said, it is not my job as a journalist to tell you the solutions to the problems you promise to come and fix as a politician. My job is to highlight ways that we can get. So there's been a constant back and forth between the former spokesperson on policy documentation, policy communication on what he should do next in terms of running for political office. So late yesterday, this read the statement of the spokesperson on behalf of Atiku Abubakar, all of this back and forth. And then Professor had also released the statement. Stick around. It is Midweek Politics live on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Stay ahead of the political discourse with Midweek Politics, your go-to program for in-depth discussions and critical insight into Nigerians' government.
We are hustle. There is no anything to eat. Hello, ni bag of rice is in. Hello, la bag of rice tele. Bag of rice 20,000.
Join Okoyemi Akinyode and his co-host Victor Achibon. Election coverage and all political conversations. Straight 120 minutes.
Is it because Nigerians are not talking enough?
Every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
You see, if I have the opportunity to meet him face to face, what I will tell him is just this. Your Excellency, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, you have to believe in destiny, in the will of God for you to govern Nigeria. There are many other ways you can contribute. And since you have been a friend to President Bola Tinubu for many years, come together and bring your contribution towards the Nigeria that both of you wanted to create for the Nigerian people. Sow the dreams, albeit through your friend. But if he insists that he wants to run and he wants to become the president, as we are already political family, he has lost substantial people, probably 60 to 70%. And now a younger generation under him felt that it is their turn and their right to also run. And for some time now, with all the talks, they have not backed down or back away from their ambition. And they don't look like they are going to back away anytime soon.
Thank you very much and welcome back. We'll soon open the phone lines. Bolane Obuala, the special advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on policy. And from all indications, it looks like God has not destined Atiku Abubakar to govern the country. He's also advising Atiku Abubakar to the problem of this country. And by the way, Daniel Buala was one of the spokesperson of Atiku Abubakar in 2023 presidential election. Well, co-opportunist, Atiku fires back at Buala. Buala, who previously served as the spokesperson for Atiku 2020 of his destiny. The former vice president has fired back. We play you that soundbite, and then the pontificating laced with bitterness and duplicity in his quote, accusing him of hypocrisy and opportunism following his comments during the interview. It is both ironic and pathetic that Mr. of legacy, destiny, and retirement. Atiku Abubakar neither Mr. Bola's current relevance, if any, is owed entirely to the platform. Statement also accused the Tinubu camp of being obsessed with Atiku Abubakar, noting that the administration about the kind of people that our politicians often surround themselves with are people that helps them with decision, advises them. Special advisor to a governor, one of the governors under the first term of Muhammadu Buhari. And he told he's enjoying the lagis that comes with the office. But he said so that's the special advice. So it could be two things. But this back and forth, what does this say about the mindset of needless distractions there and there? Daniel Buala had always been in the news for the right as a build-up to the 2023 election. What does it say about the kind of people that our politicians gave to him being the spokesperson? I remember he was saying that if you're in the APC and they open your mouth, now he's the special advisor to the president on policy communication. Now there's a back and forth. At this crucial time,
yes, it's just it's just very unfortunate because at some point I think they agreed amongst themselves that one will be in charge of policy, the other one will be in charge of whatever. Then you've not done anything. I say something, so that at least
everybody's busy doing nothing.
And just busy faffing around doing nothing, basically because of the position he holds today as a special advisor to the president. And that's the only reason that because again, Okwemi, he's not a man of conviction. He's not a man that has shown that he has a presenter asking him, "Our market, our market." So because again, if you put what he has said 2 years ago against what he's saying now, you understand why I think that Daniel Bwala is a complete waste of time, because there is lack of consistency in his thinking and thought processes. I think it's a complete waste of time, basically. Where's Shegwadini? They were just enjoying his own time, and at some point Nigerians would decide. Himself and Babacha Lawal were the ones that started Muslim TikTok. And I said, these guys, they are not committed to what they are saying. They're basically just distracting. And look at the same Muslim ticket that he was shouting. Well, he has seen things differently. And who is to blame him? So, again, I don't know.
Less than 24
These guys have no shame. There's no shame.
Political decision was to be on that joint ticket. If you had won the election,
it's highly because of the fact that they have access to public resources, and so they have enough money to throw around, and they have access to the corridors of power. And if you are a human being, that nobody can say this is because what he's saying today, he will say something else tomorrow too. And it's about market. They are moving the market. And I'm sure, look, they are so shameless that they will find a way to begin to twist the narrative, stomach infrastructure, where the butter is bread. And for the response, I think I would have hoped that they were going to ignore him.
Absolutely, I was thinking.
Don't waste your precious time responding to it. Let people understand that. Look, it's just they are still going to say more things. Don't bother with it. I'd rather he can move where any moment, and they have the English to begin to twist it around.
He said he's never been an enemy of the president. It was against the APC, not against him.
You see the way they twist things.
That's how they used
also,
to say
the government is working for now. It's not the government of APC. Market. The man is just moving the shop around.
He's a very sure boy. Shadow government are designed to serve as a credible opposition to President Bola 48 hours ago under the banner of the Big Tent Quad. Is tasked with regularly scrutinizing government actions and constitutional reforms. He said the recent does not courageously identify the performance failure of incumbents or offer options and influence culture in a counter direction. It should be complicit. Some emphasize the importance of focusing on integrity and transparency. The shadow team must also address critical issues of ethics, transparency, and integrity. I've been seeing what Sᴏᴜᴜ also has been doing with his movements. I've also seen the talk of the coalition by Malam Nasir Rufai last week. Faction, actually. There is Lamidi Apapa, there is Senator Nemadi Usman as well. So there are a lot of people holding to it, but let me say factional. He's quite respected. He was part of the economic team of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, especially in the face of so much inconsistency around the opposition in this country, the Labour Party has Governor Alex Otti is being accused of anti-party, and the Labour Party has set up a committee to investigate him. So if they find him guilty, maybe they will expel him from the party, because you would.
On the instruction of the governor.
Obviously, even the local government of the governor went to Zenith Labour Party. He didn't even go to his own political party.
You know there's something there.
Is this
shadow cabinet? It's only done in a parliamentary system of government. Where you have the opposition appointing shadow ministers. So when you have a minister of health, for example, there's a shadow minister on the other side, and so basically what they do is to scrutinize the policy and provide alternatives. You understand? Basically, then in our situation, and I'll tell you that look. Political opposition is dying. Opposition should be in the form of political parties in their representation as we have it at the National Assembly, state assemblies, and what have you. Like I was telling Sage earlier in the morning, when everybody has been weak to lie, whether directly or indirectly. It's that the doctrine of checks and balances has gone beyond the 3 levels of government, the 3 arms of government. Accountability, for us to hold government accountable, for us to scrutinize government activities and continue to provide. So beyond the media, I was having a very robust argument with some of the conversation was whether Sahara Reporters as a platform was credible or not. They've forgotten that the guys you think are not credible. And so the things you think platforms like Sahara Reporters, Premium Times take that are merely propaganda materials are things that the traditional media will not take. That materials are there that you guys publish. Planted stories here who accuse Sahara Reporters of, you do the same thing, but in a different form. Asking for a paper, and so he went for a function as a young journalist, as an editor of a paper, but he was there as a reporter. Listen to me, Okpeyemi. And so when he got to that function, so as a journalist, he was like, this is a story.
Charlie, it's a big story.
Big story. 15. That the governor himself now arrived. And in his convoy were more than 30 SUVs. And he said, oh, I've seen my long time. The wastefulness of resources. It was going to be a big story to show the people how this told him. This story don't go fly.
Except you want to fly away with it.
the paper is surviving. He said that was how the story was killed. And he said, look, if at that point, platforms like media that, if Delegiwa was alive, the stories he was taking, some of you will say he cannot fly international media. So where is investigative journalism? Look at Fisayo Shoyombo, for example, of the FIJ. Media will not take it.
They won't take it.
This investigation into the activities of custom officers, corrupt smuggling happening in the Laradodo area. Anything that holds the government accountable makes democracy rich.
It's valid.
It's valid. So no matter the people, it's a welcome development and we should appreciate it. Be able to question the activities of government, provide reasonable alternatives. It's a welcome in the political space. The guys that are supposed to firm up the opposition, look at the way from the other. So if Party Tomi will put up people to form a shadow cabinet, more Nigerians can do the same thing. Doesn't have to be Party Tomi. You can also do the same thing if you have eminent Nigerians, intellectuals. The APC will not be in government today if they were silenced. They are part of our democracy.
Well, I just hope we can do the right thing because about whether I vote on election day or not is the fact that the opposition is gradually in this country. 5 of them since 2023, and 4 of those have gone to the ruling party, except of course Bayelsa last year. We don't know the date yet, but there's going to be off-cycle elections for the governorship seats in Osun State and Ekiti. People sense bias, whether people sense loyalty or patronage from this platform. The most important thing is that once the facts are here, we'll bring it out and we'll make you understand how some of these things are working. We have loads of messages here on Facebook conversation. We've had 3 major things. Daniel Bwala and his former principal Atiku Abubakar, and of course the formation of the shadow. There's nobody parading himself as the president or the vice president. Anything that provides credible alternative, that provides a platform. But what do you think? 09136000410. It is Midweek Politics. Want to join me every Wednesday to break down some of these issues and more. It's Mainland FM. Messages on Facebook. Phone calls also come to Larwaju.
Good afternoon, Mr. Payemi.
You're welcome.
My view to Mr. Fawad, cabinet not confusing. Why he was saying that government or can put government on his toe. So I'm not somehow confused. On insecurity in the land, I think Mr. Payemi need to do a lot in the act. Why are they allowing them, arresting them, and at the end of the day they will be Atiku? I think what we need to look at is the messenger and the messenger. For me, in my understanding, in one's life. And if Mr. Atiku is not there, President Tinubu, he sought for presidency once and he won. That's what presidency at work.
Let me really answer him. Again, if he listened to me, borrowed idea. I said, obviously, they must have borrowed it and the analysis of government policies. So if it's a borrowed idea, I think we shouldn't really bother about the name or the nomenclature. It should be what they're able to bring to the table in terms of dissenting opinion. People are getting them thinking about
exactly, and that's what we're doing as well. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, very good afternoon.
You're welcome. Your messages as well. Rashid from Ajegunle says, A good day to the gentlemen in the studio. To me, the most unfortunate human beings in this country. Mr. Shola, good to have you on the show today.
Yes, Mr. Ope. Good afternoon. I greet you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, my name is Shola. I'm coming from Nigeria.
You're welcome.
I mentioned it this morning. The antecedents, they have always been conference, they have always been meetings, nothing. Because that is when we know that they are ready. But do they actually know? Let them account for it. Are they going to be policy measures? And they are ready to tackle this thing. Not just to be courage and then don't jamboree. Therefore, warrior, it will come out from their mouth. But, it will be bitter when it comes out. So, warrior is somebody I don't see as somebody to reckon with.
Thank you.
Well.
Okay, this is James Ogbona from Oshodi. Let me talk to Mr. Gege Joshua. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. I personally will not at any time, there's no condition that will make me to leave whatever Voila is saying. I think that is the kind of person. We have lived on national development sometimes because one, of course, you can take the opportunity. But I don't want to talk about 2027. I don't want to talk politics.
You have to bring that into it. Join us by 6 o'clock. Night is Champions League now, right?
Straightforward.
James Ogbona from Oshodi says, good categorically that the insurgents don't have better weapons than the military of the security summit. What would the summit do to solve the security challenges in the country? Where they are only going to be enjoying themselves in luxurious hotels, receiving thank you packages for attending the summit. We've said it for the upturn time. Let them approve status. Let the military men be equipped with sophisticated weapons and let them all take the battles to the enemies. Let us fund men to fight insecurity in this country. Opinions to the government through a designated channel which can be studied and implemented without hosting any brilliant submission you've given us on the show this afternoon. Okay? The passionate way at which you analyze these things make one to start shedding tears. What hurts most is not even the politicians who play politics with everything, but the same supporters who, for the same reason of what is gone, the same subsidy that Jonathan was insulted and abused when he removed, the same subsidy some of the supporters were praising Tinubu for his boldness to remove. What an hypocrisy. They should remember that everything is not politics. They should at least remember the future of their children. Ooh, that's loud. Hello, good afternoon. I'd appreciate if you can call back 0913-600-0410.
At the president,
Yeah, let's go on, Prince Wise.
Number one, I want to ask a question. You see, illegal like the international body of the president or that NSC. It's not for me. Anthony, you don't need to be
ridiculous. But do you know that the service chiefs report to the NSC?
This man is special advisor to Mr. President.
No, he's not a special advisor.
I'm coming down.
So the advice you think you'll be giving to the president, where would he be picking the information from? Where would he be getting the information from?
If you meet the chief of army staff today, what's your problem? I want you to do this. I want you to do that.
But that's what I just said. I take briefing from them.
You are talking. You are not to talk.
No. We need to correct you when you make mistakes.
Please don't correct you.
I will correct you. No. We have a right to correct you. If you make mistakes, we correct you. Yes, because I said you can't compel you that you have to say the wrong things. Yes.
Let's take it easy.
Yes. Let me say something. I thank God. We only criticize government. If any person from Barak still remain, we are already many years ago, and we be contributing whatever we are allowed to talk.
And so what do you want me to do with that?
Excuse me. When they say I will work of national advisor to Mr. President, because sometimes ago, he can never supervise a minister. We have minister for defense, we have both senior and junior, we have chief of army staff, chief of naval staff. A national advisor can go better. All of us now go to Afro. I will go to any army officer to ask them this question. National advisor, what the show limitation, I will know that. But now for the professor, he's not talking about politics. That's why he's setting up a illegal something which is not our constitution. Every day, Obi is talking. I think
Thank you.
We must follow the law.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But let's set it straight. the national security. So, because I'm wondering, what would he be advising the president on if he doesn't take briefing from the people on the field? The NSA is not in the line at that level. It's not at the level of Sunday Dare. Is at the level of the national security
do you remember
advisor.
When they were concerned about the fact that look,
why would it
be helped? You know, when it comes to information and education, we understand that this platform is to educate the people. And when you come with wrong narrative, it's our job to puncture it and correct you. And so the platform is not free for all, where you just come in and spew whatever you want to spew.
Okay, Sean rather is texting and he says, "Can I whisper to the president to create a special squad who goes in the shadow to eliminate terrorists like how they did Osama bin Laden? I can tell you, we'll continue to have summit till 2050. Should give him permission to go all out and take out the terrorists." The statement carried a lot of weight.
Just lies. Okwemi, haven't you and I seen mass graves, mass burials?
I've attended so many.
And if he doesn't even understand why some of these things are not completely put out for people by demanding to see videos,
that's even a slap on the victim.
He speaks a lot about what he thinks about some
you
of these issues.
You can't go to Barricade and tell them to show you mass grave where 53 people were buried.
That's why we say, when
Facebook, we have loads of messages on Facebook. Okay. Rafi War AGK says, Prince Wise from Mahmoud of should go and ask the president these questions. Afiz Adebayo is responding to a message that I will also take later on the show. But let me read this. He said, "In case you don't know, this is the best radio station government. Mind you, there is no shame." Okay. Benjamin, he says, talking to us, and it says that, "Good afternoon, guys. Daniel Bwala is a political..." Okay, I have to also filter out. Besides, the same APC is romancing with today. I don't blame him because there is hunger in the land and he's been given a job by president to feed himself. Someone said that it was in no distance time. That's Benjamin from Shogunle. Okay. Afiz Adebayo, I saw the message you're responding to. Larry Olakomi says, "One cannot stop politicians from playing their games. Let it continue, and we, the non-politicians, will laugh it off. If we are to look at Bwala's evidence, will at all times play its role." Okay? When somebody defraud and rob people to become rich, can one say gods, which you and I don't know about, but you be thinking that they are referring to the same God that... James Gwanchi also says, "Good afternoon to my lovely guys in the studio. I was just... Okay, I took that message already. Atondaka says, "Quite unfortunate that you guys are more or less double dealing political parties' bids. Go down and dig the true origins of insurgents and their attacks. Go down memory lane to see that the whole issues of this heinous crime is more or less political from the north, person of the president. Tinubu point blank, start the issue of Boko Haram from Mohammed Yusuf with Governor Mahmoud Sharif to Governor Shettima. Well, that governor shed barely half of his term. See, the activities of the daily life of the Northeast is what they are not collecting allocation. Please, enough of this accusation to Tinubu as a person." Okay, thank you very much. Larry Olakomi says, "My question is, why is security personnel, most especially, even in times engaging the military men in gun battle? I will blame the military men for not exterminating these undesirable elements rather than arrest them and rehabilitate, always ranting without solutions." Okay, aside for that, they've accused you that you are absolutely against the person of the president. Okay, this advisor, but he would not listen if you tell him. Okay. This one says the age of Methuselah. Okay, you made
it still works.
It's still the same thing. I'm still making reference to Prince Wise, calling other radio station and all of that. But let's just let that go. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. What with you?
Good afternoon. Okay, my name is Malam Salau.
You're welcome, Malam Salau.
Yeah, that's very good. I'm careful time, Abi. See, let me tell you, okay, so soon, because this is a president that almost politicize everything. And for the last national security, that is what you don't know. You get me? And this is one of the, you get me? This is it. And this is the first time that we're having somebody outside of military to be a national security advisor. I stand to be corrected. You get me? This also. And at the same time, between government and Boko Haram. And he mentioned some men. You get me? Say, I'm waiting for you over there. You get me? So when you have enemy within, it is now the job to create some ways of people to get something. You understand?
Thank you.
One way, I mean, and
studio, but let me also tell a sitting room or beer parlor where they think they can split fake and false narrative. Good to show our voices have now started to be heard. Okay, side forward.
The thing is that look, you don't do this job because you want people to, it's just to get you thinking about these issues, and that promise the people to keep them safe. I have to do their. It's not my problem. My own problem is to do the job and do it professionally. And that's what we'll continue to do.
1 p.m. all the way down to 3 p.m. on your super down the situation. But before that, for your favorite songs, and then weeks B, and by the 4 o'clock, it is the situation room all the way down to 5:30. And then we'll have the mainland FM Sunset News by 5:30 all the way down to 6. And tonight, at the stake, the France as they try to obtain a first leg defeat at the Emirates Stadium in the second leg of the Champions League semi-final. So, Sports Cruise by 6 p.m. Join myself and Agbatomi to take you through till the ladies' lounge would come up from 7 to 9 p.m. So, we've got everything all sorted out for you. Thank you to everyone that made this production the top quality. Apologies for the calls. I'm seeing your calls, but we're pressed for time. We have to go. Thank you for all of your message. And Prince Wise, thank you. But so that we know, the NSA takes briefings. Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Oꞌᴏ Akende. Let's do this again next week, Wednesday, 1 to 3.